Good morning. Happy Sunday. Boy, that took a long time to hook up there. Not sure what the deal was with that. Let me grab a drink here. And we'll give it a minute for everybody to pop on because today's the day. I actually want to remind everybody that we have Unity Cafe, our monthly Zoom meeting today, which all week long I kept forgetting to tell all of you. Good morning, Carolyn. Welcome, welcome. Glad you are here. Oh, looks like there's 3 of you here. The numbers have rolled, but the names haven't. There's Jo Neal. Good morning, Jo Neal. Welcome. So anyway, as I was saying, I kept forgetting to say, hey, this Sunday, today, we have Unity Cafe, 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern. So if you want to join us, and I did remember yesterday after YEMIG was done to email out a reminder. So, excuse me, hopefully some of you received that. So I'm hoping there's actually going to be someone there this morning to talk with me. We shall see. I kept writing it down for the next day, each day, and I guess there were lots of things to talk about this week. So I was intent on the messages and failed to do the reminder for Unity Cafe today. So Unity Cafe at 7 o'clock Central Time. You guys can make your adjustments. I think U.S. coasters, that means 5 o'clock. So Carolyn, thank you for the hearts and the rainbow. Very lovely rainbow. I was rewatching old Randy Rainbow videos last night. I have no idea why. I haven't done that in quite some time. You're gonna have to miss it. Oh, bummer. Sorry. Yeah, I just was not good with the reminders. So we can figure this out. And we'll just see. We'll see where we go. I'm practicing my flow. And apparently I didn't do very good on taking you guys along with the flow. So, speaking of flow, we have a card today that alludes to flow, and also alludes to expansion. And again, I feel like that's a theme we need to be visiting and revisiting and promoting at this point, that we're all living too small lives. We're being called to more. And it's not just in the here's what you must do sense, but in the here's what's available to you sense. And it's available to everybody. And so therefore, those who are hoarding need to stop. And those who are feeling the fear of it's going to be taken from me, hopefully can be stepping into a bigger space of even if something seems like it's being taken, we know that old paradigm is dying. It's on its last legs. So we can be less clingy with whatever it is. So speaking of that, yesterday, good morning, Beth. Glad you're here. Welcome. Waving back. Speaking of that, yesterday, I think it was either the day before or 2 days before, I had this flash of, oh, here's something I could try in terms of releasing. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. Just a reminder for you, because you tend to be at all of them, you and your mom, Carolyn, that we do have Unity Cafe today at 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock West Coast. Derailed myself. Give me a minute here. Hold, please. Oh, books, my beloved books. My beloved books that are piled so high beside the bed that if they tip over, they could kill me. My beloved books that have pushed the back off of one of the 3 bookshelves in the library here. And I have boxes and boxes and boxes of books over at the warehouse. So, but this idea plopped into my head 2 days ago of a method for releasing some books. So I thought yesterday I would go and try it. It worked beautifully. I ended up swinging through St. Vinny's drop-off center with 2 boxes, boxes, not little, 2 boxes of books and 2 boxes of other stuff. Like, my mom had at least a half a dozen cake pans of the 9x13 size. Good morning, Abigail. Glad you're here. She had at least a half a dozen round ones, square ones. Thank you. I'm glad you're going to be there. Yay. Any of the rest of you who are popping on who missed the announcement because I was not clicking on this all week, I had it written down and never said it. This morning is Unity Cafe. So hopefully you got your link in the email, the reminder that did go out yesterday. If not, drop something in the feed here and then I will know to send you the email. Keep derailing myself. Really good at that today. Books. So my method was, and the universe so conspired to help me here. Because parting with my books, it's not sweet sorrow, it's painful sorrow. The first box I opened was actually all Janet Ivanovich's and Harry Potter's. And somehow I failed to remember that I had a box of those packed away. And so I had some on my shelves here. And so somehow my addled little brain thought that I didn't have the rest of them. So, what is it, 3-4 years ago when I moved in here, I created a little list that I carry in my purse, and Vicky, when she was out and about, she'd ask me also, which ones are you missing? And we'd get them from thrift stores or rummage sales or wherever. I got I forget, is it a 4-book set this summer at a rummage sale for a couple of bucks? So anyway, it dawns on me, I have duplicates of some of the Harry Potters and some of the Janet Ivanovich's. So I brought home the stacks of the ones from the warehouse, because those are in very good condition, and I'm going to do the comparison, and I know there's going to be a bunch that I have to part with. Those I think I'll put at a rummage sale, which is actually the 8th and 9th. So that'll clear out a bunch of stuff. Then I opened the next box, and there were a bunch of things that were relevant to my work life, my prior work life as a psychologist, not as a coach. And many of them, obviously, if it's in book form, it's now old research, it's old information. So the vast majority of them went in the box to go. There was, what else went? But anyway, the method was hold it to my chest and just pay attention to how do I feel when I think about that particular book. And if I rocked forward, I called it a keeper. If I rocked back, I said part with it. If my conscious mind howled about either of those, then I muscle tested to see. So there was a lot of stuff that I let go of that I thought I ought to keep. But if the words should, ought, have to, or must popped into the equation, out it went. So by the time I was done, it was 2 big boxes of books and 2 boxes of cake pans, housewares, blah, 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 off to Vinny's. So I feel lighter. And I will sort through this next bunch of the Ivanovich's and the Harry Potters and part with the remainder, and that feels good. So yeah, made some interesting headway today. Ask the universe, what is it I need for a method to release, and then fill in the blank, something that you're struggling to release. It might be your clothes, it might be your shoes. Like I said before, I had a friend who it was t-shirts, hoodies, and tennis shoes. So pretty soon the rocket dogs were headed out the door. Try it. Yes, let me know how it goes. And I found as I went that I was tweaking that and using multiple methods, but it certainly got me started, and it certainly was an integral part of the process in the middle of things. So that was very helpful. I actually had to go through these 3 piles by my bed the other day because someone reached out to me and said that a third party had said they had loaned me a book and that they now wanted to loan it to her, and could I bring the book? I went through those 3 stacks. That book isn't there. I vaguely recall returning it, but I could be wrong. So now there's my reason to go looking through all the piles and assessing them. As long as I'm going through them and have to look at every book, I might as well do the hold it to your chest, see if it speaks to you routine. So, clutter clearing on its way. And then, where do we go from there? Today's card, I think, is an example, a fine example of where we go from there. So, we have Notes from the Universe on Abundance by Mike Dooley. Now, one of the things, I went to coffee yesterday with 2 friends of mine, and we were talking about all the books we were reading, and most of us were reading at least 2, and many of them overlapped. You released some scrapbook stuff. Yay, you! And with the scrapbook stuff, what's kind of fun is passing them on to like little kids who haven't yet experienced the joy of scrapbooking. Punches, they like punches. So yeah, share with people. Maybe it's teaching them how to make alphabet cards, things they're going to use in their future, whatever, who knows. But yes, sharing the scrapbook stuff, yay. And our card is about sharing today. So let's take a moment, take some breaths, notice within. I notice I'm slowing down my speech. What do you notice as you pay attention within? I notice that my lungs are feeling tight, likely from the crappy air quality that we have going on. I notice my mind is thinking about an article I read in the newspaper yesterday. Yes, my dad still gets the newspaper. It comes in the mail now rather than having a delivery person, but he still gets the newspaper. And there was a story in there about, are you ready for this, my Michiganders? Lake Michigan being the deadliest lake in the United States. More people drown every year in Lake Michigan than any other lake. And they, in particular, pointed their finger at the state of Michigan. Now, Lake Michigan is bordered by several other states, including Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, blah, blah, blah. What's the difference? Michigan doesn't have... Yes, your heart rate slows down. Michigan doesn't have lifeguards on their beaches. There's 2 places in Michigan that actually have lifeguards. And most of the other beaches, and there's lots of beaches in Michigan, there's lots of beaches in Wisconsin. So I just thought that was such an interesting article. Things we're not aware of. And that was a conversation we had with my friends at coffee yesterday morning. How much we're not aware of. And that fits with our card for today. And again, we have either a sunrise or a sunset. If I had to guess, I'd say it's a sunset. But I don't know, I lean in the direction of them being sunsets. Not sure why. I tend to see more sunrises than sunsets, but for whatever reason. So here's our card for today. And I want you to listen with the intuitive part of yourself that goes a little more deeply, that here's the intention in the card. Oh, this is the universe talking to all of us. Oh, I've been meaning to tell you for the longest time that, well, concerning the illusions, time and space, the stars at night, the earth under your feet, the oceans, the rivers, the prairies, and everything under the sun. They're all yours. Guess I thought you would have noticed by now. Oh, yes, they are. The universe. So when you first hear that, what's your first thought? Put it in the feed. I want to see what kind of thoughts you had compared to the thought that I had. And grab a drink here. Do, 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 do. What's your first thought when you hear that? They're all yours. Guess I thought you'd have noticed by now. Oh, yes, they are. The universe. My first thought was that we don't need to be fighting over them. There's clearly more than enough to go around. We don't need to be fighting over them. And those who are fighting are coming from scarcity. They're not coming from abundance. And there's the word illusions in there. Illusions. Imagine that. People fighting over what's an illusion. Kind of mind-boggling, right? And those who feel discomfort over mind-boggling ideas, they don't enjoy them, they don't run with them. Hang in there. Hang in there with this idea. Hang in there with the idea that there's more than enough to go on. Stewardship. Beautiful. Beautiful. Because that was my second thought. That was my second thought. If this is all ours, then we're in a position of needing to care for it and needing to respect it and needing to call out those who are not and appreciating day to day. I think that right there is a huge one. The book I'm reading about the fairies, the woman who needs more fairy energy in her life and therefore goes on a search for fairies. The part I'm reading right now, she moves from New York City to Charleston, South Carolina, which, if you haven't been to Charleston, it's a pretty interesting and magical place. Her significant other, who had just asked her to marry him, is from there. So they moved back there. And from there, she's gone on a 3-month excursion to Scotland, England, and Ireland. And she's picking up that energy of there's so much more going on here, but we're moving so fast and we're being distracted purposefully and by accident, so we're not paying attention to what is here, what is available, what is readily accessible to us, etc. So first thing is slow down. Second thing is start being aware. What's around us? Asking ourselves, what if any kind of stewardship do I feel toward this particular thing? My little brother's coming to pick up some flowers today. I have lilies of the valley that have spread everywhere, so he's going to take a bunch of them to put near his pond that he just redid. Fabulous. So stewarding the plants. I think after he takes what he wants, I'm going to set up a table by the road and put free plants. And all of the things that I have can sit out there for a day. They don't have to be planted. I mean, I have other kinds of lilies and iris. Those things I actually have. Previous house, there were so many, and I had gifted them to everybody I could think of, that I put them on the compost pile. They bloomed the next year. I didn't plant them, I just threw them on the compost pile. and they bloomed the next year. So then I could give them to new people. So, the illusions, all that we have, we are the stewards of all that we have. We need to be kicking up our stewardship game here, big time. We need to be speaking our truth about that which we steward. No, I really don't think we need to be blowing holes in Mother Earth to extract. We have other methods. We have ways of doing things that aren't so extractive. We have things that we can replace the things that are attained in extractive ways in other ways. Nature has a great sense of humor. Great sense of humor. So, be aware. Have your eyes open. Notice. See what comes to you. See what presents itself to you. I think it's funny that after these awarenesses in the morning yesterday, my little brother connects with me and says, hey, can I get some plants? It's like, oh yeah, I'm stewarding these plants. So, how about for you? What pops into your mind in terms of either the things that are available to you that you haven't allowed yourself to access because you've been focused on scarcity, or the things that you feel like, I need to steward this a little better. I need to take better care of X. What's your X? One of my X's has been getting rid of as much grass as possible. What is the point of grass? So it's resource gulping and really not, yeah, that's my soapbox. But whatever. We've got a very, very, very small yard here. It really wouldn't warrant a riding lawnmower. But my dad's 90 and he likes being at one with the lawnmower. So there you go. So there's our card again. Very pretty card. Give some thought to this. If you can make it at 7 o'clock Central Time for our Unity Cafe, that would be lovely. If it's just going to be me and Gwen, that'll be lovely too. We'll see who manages to show up, given that I did not do a great job of promoting it this month. We'll see how I do next month. So that's it for today. Have some conversations about this today. See who else might be intrigued by the idea that there's more than enough to go around, that we need to slow down and pay attention to it, and what might we need to be kicking up our stewardship game with. So, see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.